Hello, ni hao. I'm David, a 45-year-old family man living in Taipei, Taiwan. I am a white-collar office worker trying to keep up with rent, daycare, groceries, and the rising cost of living on my Taiwan salary. Many YouTube channels show life in Japan and Korea. Still, not many people talk about what it's like to raise a family in Taiwan. I will share my life in Taiwan with you. I am married and have one child. My wife is 40, and my boy is 3 years old. Please excuse me. My English is poor, so I am using AI to help translate this from Mandarin. To be transparent, I'm making this YouTube channel to supplement my income someday. With hard work, I really hope I get lucky and see success. I work in Taipei from Monday to Friday. White-collar workers work 5 days a week. I work in the technology industry in a typical office, and we get a 90-minute lunch break, 1 hour for lunch, and 30 minutes to nap after lunch at our desks. Although an after-lunch nap time is common in Taiwan, I learned from foreign friends that this is not typical in some Western countries. It would be hard to work right after lunch without a nap. How do you stay awake after lunch? Maybe if I drink extra coffee, I can work immediately after lunch. Although Taipei has excellent public transportation, many locals like me prefer to commute by motorcycle. This is the fastest way to get around Taipei during rush hour, as it takes less than half the time to get to work than an MRT or bus. However, riding a motorcycle in Taipei is dangerous, and I don't recommend it to foreigners. Today, I will discuss salaries in Taiwan and share my salary and rent. The average salary in Taiwan in 2024 is 46,450 new Taiwan dollars, or 1,600 US dollars. The minimum wage in Taiwan is 190 new Taiwan dollars, or $5.80 an hour. What is a high salary in Taiwan? I will talk about Taipei only because it will be lower in the south and smaller in the cities. In Taipei, a decent salary is about 60,000 new Taiwan dollars, or 2,075 US dollars. However, this is no longer a good salary due to Taipei's high cost of living and rising food costs. In my opinion, a good wage for a single person will be over 100,000 new Taiwan dollars, or 3,460 US dollars. A family with one child will need at least 150,000 new Taiwan dollars, or 5,185 US dollars, to survive in Taipei. Let me say this is my own experience and opinion as a middle-aged family man in Taipei. I also read a news article that said a family of 3 would need 150,000 new Taiwan dollars to survive in Taipei. Besides the monthly salary during the Chinese New Year, which we call Lunar New Year, we will receive an annual bonus. How much is the bonus? It depends on the type of company you work for, but it is typically a 1 to 3 months salary. Some large companies like TSMC or Honghai, known outside of Taiwan as Foxconn, may give a bonus of 3 to 6 months on a very good year. But 1 to 2 months is very standard. I have one friend who only got $10 for 1 year in a red envelope, and no other bonus. This was terrible. Along with the bonus, there is an end-of-the-year lunch or dinner, where additional prizes or money are given out in traditional red envelopes. This is usually a few thousand NTD, or about $100 to $500. Red envelopes are used to gift money. Larger companies may gift much more than $500. So what is my salary in Taipei? I am a white-collar office worker whose salary is 74,000 new Taiwan dollars, or $2,560. Although this is higher than most people's salaries in Taipei, I feel this is insufficient if you have a family. My wife also works as a teacher. Her salary is 49,000 new Taiwan dollars, or 1,690 US dollars. In Taiwan, many companies will often give a stipend for lunch, which is included in your salary. This is usually 2,000 new Taiwan dollars, or 70 US dollars. So, our household salary is 4,250 US dollars. It is hard to survive in Taipei on this money if you have a child. As you can see, this is under the 150,000 NTD suggested by the news article I read to survive in Taipei. This is one reason I thought about moving out of Taipei. The high cost of living in Taiwan is the reason most Taiwanese don't have children. and many do not even marry in my generation. People cannot afford to have children anymore. It is tough to save money here with our salary. Of my 18 co-workers in my office, only 6 are married. Of the 6, only 3 have children. I also heard this is a similar problem in Japan and South Korea. How much does it cost to live in your country? How much is the income tax in Taiwan? My family's combined salary tax rate is 12%. However, we can save some money here because we have 1 child. Income tax is straightforward in Taiwan. It usually only takes 15 minutes for us to finish and send, because the government has it all prepared for us in digital format online or on our phones. We look over everything and can change or fix anything we think is wrong. But in the many years I've been paying my income taxes, it has always been correct. This is very efficient compared to the past. In the past, we used to take time off work to go to the tax office and wait in line for help filing the income tax. In general, Taipei and Taiwan are among the most expensive countries in which to buy a house. We cannot afford to buy a house in Taipei or Taiwan because of the high cost. The prices have kept rising since 2006 and have never crashed to a reasonable level. In Taipei, buying a house costs $8,000 per square meter. This is close to 18 years of average salary to buy a house. Even doctors and lawyers can hardly afford a tiny house in Taipei on their salaries without help from parents. This is how ridiculously high the prices have become. Many people in Taipei rent small apartments. A typical family of 3 in Taipei may share a small 53 to 70 square meter or 600 to 800 square foot apartment. A new 70 square meter or 800 square foot apartment in Taipei, including a parking space, will cost over $1 million. This is a ridiculous price. A 50-year-old moldy apartment may even cost about $600,000. Most houses in Taipei seem to be well over $1.5 million. A spacious new house that has 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms is a fantasy unless you are rich. The price tag would be well over $2 million in 2025. This is unaffordable for most working families unless their parents are wealthy and help pay for most of the house. Even in the cities outside of Taipei, such as New Taipei City, the cost keeps rising and will cost $600,000 to $800,000 for a newer house. We kept waiting for the price to drop, but it never did. The high cost of houses in Taiwan is caused by wealthy investors. There is a high vacancy rate in Taiwan. People like to put their savings and investments into real estate. I think this is common for ethnic Chinese anywhere in the world. Having a house is essential to be qualified for marriage here. Without a house, no girl will marry you. This is primarily the older generation that owns many houses, and many will leave them empty and not rent them out because the property tax is very low here, only maybe a few $100s US a year. Also, it is quite expensive to remodel houses here since they are built from steel and concrete to withstand earthquakes and typhoons. Most houses in Taipei are large apartment buildings. A typical rent in Taipei for an 800 square foot apartment is maybe $1,200 for an older building and $2,000 for a newer building. It's costly now. How are housing prices in your country? How much do I pay for rent? My family and I live in a 70 square meter or 800 square foot apartment. It costs $1,200 per month. This is because my landlord did not raise our rent for 5 years. Otherwise, it may cost closer to $1,400 per month now. The insides of the houses in Taipei may look nicer and be remodeled, but the buildings can be ancient and have mold and cracks. However, earthquake safety structures are usually very good. We learned a lot of this from Japan. For electricity, we pay about $40 to $90 per month. Usually it's double in the summer because we need to turn on the air conditioner. The summers in Taiwan are unbearably hot and humid. Often, Taipei's humidity can be over 90%. For water, we pay about $30 per month. Our gas bill is around $25 per month. The internet is $50 per month. Some newer luxury houses have their own private trash pickup service, which is included in the rent, or the landlord may charge a lump sum that includes the building's security fee. This may be about $1,000 to $5,000 depending on how nice the house is. Most people purchase Taipei City trash bags from 7-Eleven or Family Mart. It costs around 50 cents US for a larger bag, and only these bags are allowed for garbage pickup generally. The other most significant expenses are daycare and preschool, which I will cover in detail in another video. What are the monthly rent and bills in your country? How do I get to work? I usually ride my motorcycle. In Taipei, it's okay not to have a car because public transport is cheap, reliable, and convenient. Also, motorcycles are very affordable. A new Yamaha 125cc motorcycle costs about $2,000. It is the cheapest and even more inexpensive transportation than the MRT and buses. My office is 15 minutes by motorcycle from my house. I live in Taipei City currently. Many families will move out of the city to New Taipei City or Taoyuan, which is much further away. Taoyuan is about 1 hour from Taipei, but I think this commute is too far and tiring each day. I am considering moving outside of Taipei City to save on rent. However, my landlord has not raised my rent in many years, so my current rental is still cheaper than if I were to move to New Taipei City. Gas only cost me 100 New Taiwan dollars, or $3.50 per week. Parking is only $3.50 per month at my office for motorcycles. Thank you for watching. I hope you can subscribe to my channel and give me a like. Until next time, bye bye, 再见.